the swimming pool?
So moved.
Support.
Motion with support. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Speak up, Teresa. So we'll start. You don't have
There you go.
Jason can give you an update on the numbers, but at the end of the day, it's, obviously you've got the history in front of you. You've got, by calendar year, Angie put together our expenses, more capital-related expenditures. But I guess the main question is, we either do the repairs, which average between 5 and 15 for one hole. If they have to dig another one, it's going to be roughly double that, maybe a little bit less cost savings with, since their equipment's already there. Or two, don't open the pool.
Can you say those numbers again?
Yeah, kind of hard to hear.
Yeah.
Speak up.
$5,000 to $15,000. They can't give us a good estimate. It was how much last time?
Last time it was 7,000.
And that was in 2019.
19, I think.
And who is this?
Millard's. Echo's coming down Monday to listen, try to give them a good location to start digging.
Who's back? A backhoe? is-
ACCO,
Oh,
ACCO.
That ACCO company, gotcha. Didn't ACCO come down like earlier this week with
They came
divers?
down. They came down on Monday, and they got us to a point where that we could trace the rest of the week, and we got it into an area in the shallow end. But now that we're to a point that we eliminate all the other areas, we need them to come to figure out even closer before we start just tearing up pool. So
So how much money we spent, I mean, you have to do this to find out what was going on, but
We haven't gotten any bills or anything,
nothing
so
yet,
we have no
right.
idea.
I mean, we tore up some pool deck, so whatever that would be, and we had to rent a mini, and then there's parts of whatever we've done, and whatever ACCO is going to charge us for last Monday. But the big spending would be Tuesday if Millard's comes down, and
That's, on average, 70,000 gallons a day, 50 to
we're not
70.
losing that now, but
Good. Well, that's the silver lining.
the
What'd you
pool's
say?
only half full.
We're not
so-
losing 70,000 gallons a day because
7 or 70?
70.
So $5,000 to $15,000 per hole, and we think our max is how many holes?
If ACCO can come down and they locate where they think it is, and if they're right, you'd only have to do one hole. But if they're not right, then you'd have to continue to.
what's the worst case number of holes? 10?
There's
entire
20 holes in this pipe.
Okay, I'm just asking.
Hopefully they can get it narrowed down to the right place, and then we can dig there. And
because they could possibly have more than one hole in the same line. right? Couldn't
last
they?
time they narrowed it down and they were right, and that's why they only did one. But there is a possibility that won't happen. So
Same line, when you said
it's the
last
same
time?
zone.
Same zone?
Yep.
I guess, to step back, last time we talked, you said, hey, it could be one of these two places. It could be this place under or this place that goes outside. Are you saying we know which one it is now?
It's a line that goes underneath the pool.
Fine.
We pressurize a line that goes back to the pool house, and it held pressure, and we actually put a camera down it too, so.
Okay.
Is that the new camera we bought or not?
We haven't got that.
We don't
yet.
have- we don't have it yet.
From Minneapolis.
Okay,
So
well, good job.
they come, we spend $10,000 to $30,000 or so guessing, and they find an issue, then what's next?
Well, if they come down and they find the issue, they fix it, that's.
Okay, but then we gotta put the pool back together, I guess is what I'm
Then you
saying.
could, at that point, would have to.
Repair the pipe, put the concrete back, seal it, paint it, and
Clean the pool.
clean the pool, put the water back in, let the chemicals get evened out.
They'd have to sit for 48 hours or something like that after the pool's filled.
And all that repair, once we find the hole, what's that, cement the pool, caulk the pool, paint the pool, all that cost, roughly?
It's gonna depend on how
It
much
was
they tear out.
You bet.
$60,000 to paint the pool this last year.
Yeah,
And
but
that's
that
what
was-
we-
this is gonna be,
And this will be a section.
this is gonna be like a section.
It was a section of it.
Brush? I got paint.
John and I will go paint it for $100.
Now, this is just a
Get me the
section, so I
paint.
can't imagine painting will be
200.
anything.
I'm just, what's to go down, I think
The
we're trying
five
to
to,
get to
the
that
5
worst
to
case.
15,000 is pretty much for fixed. the
Pipe and concrete
board
work.
back,
Oh,
and
So that
seal.
includes the
That includes.
Oh,
them
oh,
fixing.
okay.
So look, this is in the shallow side, correct? It's not in the deep side,
Correct,
as of what we're thinking.
yeah. There's no
That's a
signs.
plus.
Has everybody seen this,
I
Kelly?
don't know, Chase has the map.
The leak didn't start happening until it got up to the shallow end
Okay.
when we turned on the pump. So, and there's water, so the pool has to sit full of water all winter so it doesn't float. So the deep end had water in all winter.
And it stayed, the water stayed there.
Yeah, so it's pretty much eliminates that, you'd think.
Yeah, so
I like that you
probably,
think-
probably it's a small spot that, in that shallow end.
It's probably small, it's just finding the exact
Yeah.
location of it.
Small enough to leak 70,000 gallons a day.
Did-
And
did
that's a
you-
3-inch pipe, and
What
that'll
caused
go a
the
lot.
leak on the
That's
last
a lot of
pipe?
water.
That's a lot of.
Burlington's leak was 10,000 gallons a day
Because of the
that they could
material
not
they're using for
fix
the piping?
as a comparison,
Wow. You'd think we could,
It's just plastic.
So this is the
it's
same material?
that they chose not to proceed
And
with.
they're gonna replace it with the same material, probably?
Plastic.
Plastic, that may possibly shatter again then? I mean, that's not your fault, I mean,
Definitely could.
yeah.
It blows my mind that plastic in cement is a problem. It just blows my mind.
I don't know, there's just,
Because that's kind of unheard of.
and we haven't done the pump fix yet this year. I see that that's probably the most consistent, except for when there's always a pump repair, or
The pump was 2,600, I think, to
this year already.
repair. But to replace that pump, if it goes bad, the quote was 25,000.
And they replaced one pump just a few years ago, didn't they?
Oh.
I know, I don't expect Chase to remember to see it, because we got the stuff here, but,
This is the second pump this year,
yeah,
right?
they replaced a
The first
pump in
the first pump
23.
this year was for the pit that drains the pool, and that one was a new pump, and that was 3,000. And then the other pump was the bigger pump that runs one of the zones, and it was 2,600, I think, to fix.
Yeah, there's 29, they repaired it, the pump 3 times. I mean, in 2019, I mean, they replaced, you know,
And the price varies, because
Yeah.
there's a whole bunch of different size pumps in there.
so to clarify, I think, the cost of 5 to 15,000, that is what we think is to get from where we are today to adding water back in?
No, that's just Millard's cost to tear it up, fix the pipe, put the concrete back.
Okay, and then what cost do we need to add on top of that to get from that point to put water in?
We'll have to paint it. I believe they'll seal it too, but they have to paint it. And then the rest of it will be done in-house.
We got a brush, so that can be done.
So painting, $2,000? I don't know, give me a number.
I mean, like I said,
It was 60,000 for the whole thing, so, take a section of it, a couple $1,000, yeah.
So 2,000's of 4, give me, okay.
I wouldn't think it'd be more than
So set, if
much.
I'm hearing right, you've said correctly to get it
$1,000 to
from where we are
$2,000 if
today.
I had to guess, the pure guess.
I'm gonna take 15,000
22,000.
plus $17,000 to get us from here, where we are today, to putting water back in,
Plus the cost of ACO coming down again.
which is, what do we think that is? We gotta have an hourly rate.
I'd say 20, best case scenario if everything
Okay, where's-
perfectly,
20 all in, what you're
20?
thinking?
well, 15 plus ACO, what did you say?
it's really hard getting an exact price from anyone, because
I get
Yeah.
that, but they gotta give you an hourly rate. Are we talking $1,000 an hour
probably.
or 20?
Not 1,000, but.
500? I don't know. A vehicle and 2 technicians? Or,
Yeah,
that's my guess, 2 technicians at $150 an hour?
yep.
I don't know. I don't-
21, 22,000
There
tie, but you could have a second hole that they have to dig, and then your price is doubled.
Let's go, say 3 holes. I
60,
give it a-
66,000, I mean, I just,
Bills are like
22, 22, 22, something.
$1,000 for every time that they've come, so.
is that 8-hour day?
That was a rough estimate based on, that was a rough estimate based on their work last time, they just can't,
Angie, you gotta-
they don't know until they get in
I'm
there.
pulling one up right now.
Chase.
If it was 7,000 a few years ago, it's obviously gone up in
They fixed
cost.
everything for that, right? That was all in.
Well, that would be the concrete and the pipe work.
ACO did leak detection service in 2018 for $1,185.
2018, so double it, just
Yeah.
$2,200, $2,000 bucks.
I don't know if theirs has gone up that much.
I don't, probably not, but I'm,
And more how this echo works.
How it works. I'm not sure, I've never done it.
They run something down through the tube.
They're gonna,
And it-
they're gonna pressurize the line and they're gonna put water to it, and then they have like, from my understanding, a listening device they put up against the ground, and you're pretty much listening for waterfall underneath the ground, which is, assuming that's where the hole is. Burlington has a listening device, so we already asked them to see if they could help us out, but their device doesn't work on plastic and doesn't work on what we're doing. So it's kind of, that's our option.
So I think before I make a decision, I need to know if it's in the shallow part and it can be fixed for $15,000-$20,000.
But it's definitely in the shallow part.
Yeah.
But they're not gonna.
They're gonna have to dig it up.
I'm not gonna tell
We're not gonna know until
Sure.
until it's dug up.
Yeah.
It's, I don't know.
So if we go ahead with fixing it, it costs like $60,000 approximately. How long then do we have to wait before we can open the pool?
Echo can be here Monday, and Millard's can be here Tuesday. So
And they could get it done that week?
if everything goes right, but yeah, and then you would,
We have a pool going on. I'm guessing third Saturday out,
I was
So
less optimistic. I
not this
said-
Saturday. Kelly was guessing.
Oh, wait a minute. If they're here Monday and we fix it Tuesday and it's gonna take 48 hours to sit and then we gotta paint it, right?
yep, and
And we
after
gotta
that,
put water in
the pool is so dirty from everything happening that we will have to clean it again. We'll fill it, which will take about 2 days, and then it needs to sit for at least 48 hours with chemicals in it.
Well, you have to pour
Okay.
concrete, and that concrete's gonna have to cure before you can paint it.
do we know
Right,
how
but we can
long?
be fixing it while that's curing. Or, sorry, cleaning it while it's curing. We can clean the pool out, get that ready.
Yeah, I don't know what that entails.
So that, like, there's 4 days and then we gotta paint it and,
Just depends on what they find and how long they're in there.
Take as long as 2 weeks or less than a week.
So today's the, what's the 7th?
Sixth.
I know that Randy said that Millard's did do a lot of research on, like,
14th.
how to keep it from, when they sealed it back and painted it, I guess,
And
to,
it is the same guy that did it
Yeah.
in 2019 that would be doing it this time, so.
Melanie, to answer your question, they don't have a labor rate on here. They just say when they're doing equipment, like repair and tearing things apart, just says equipment repair, $130, I think.
An hour?
I said that and then it went,
Gotcha. Just to give us a,
135 an hour.
for equipment.
In equipment repair, that's what they have and that's the amount, so.
what do
Is
we, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm just, from how you interpret it, Angie, does that include the technician's rate, or is there a different line item possibly for a technician?
There's probably a different line item, but they don't have it broke out. Because like the heater installation for when they put the heater in was $30,000, but I don't know how long it took and they don't have a breakdown of labor or anything like that.
Going forward, it'd be nice to ask for that on the invoice.
Well, Chase asked for the best number that they could give us, and 5 to 15 was the best number they could give us at this point in time, until they get in there and see what's going on. Just depends on what they find, how big of a problem we
And
have.
that was Miller, again, 5 to 15 was Millard's portion of it. And we gotta put ACO on top of that, and we're saying that's 2,000.
And painting, yeah.
Painting, okay, 1,000 for painting, 20,000. So if we would approve of spending a not to exceed $20,000 on this repair, does that get us forward? Give me another number.
Not to exceed.
That's the best case scenario.
My personal opinion, for me, I'm not voting for anything, for any more money to be invested in the swimming pool. We've had a loss, we're over $1 million for loss, we're gonna lose more money this year. And when you measure the expenditure of what's going in the swimming pool for the few that use it, it's, to me, if I own a business, which I've worked in business, I've owned a business before, I would not be doing this. I mean, the culture's changed, it doesn't get used as much as it used to, and if you measure how many days it's actually used and the hours per day, I don't think that our community is benefited out of it. That's my feelings.
Melanie asked me to put some numbers together, and they're attached to the agenda if you have your packet open, but this is daily admission, total yearly daily admission.
I don't think they have that because there wasn't, I didn't see anything.
Aunt Teresa's has it.
I got it. But it wasn't there last night or earlier this morning.
Length of the season, number of days in the season, and the average daily attendance.
What is it?
In 2022, your total daily admission for the season was 7,538.
People?
Yep.
Per day?
Oh, total, right?
Daily admission in 2022, 7,538. The length of the season was 85 days, and the average daily attendance would have been like 89.
What can the pool hold?
2023, what?
How many people can the pool hold?
Around, well, I think the most we've allowed is like 360 or 360.
I think it's got max out around 400, 500, but we wouldn't be able to safely guard that.
Number's actually higher, but
Because they count all the space around the pool too, not necessarily just in the pool.
Anybody in that fenced-in area is your responsibility. So I think the maximum occupancy was even in the 600s, and there's just no way you can safely put that many people in. Think about them all getting in the water. Okay, so 2023, that was 11,358 people for the total daily admission. The length of the season was 84 days. Average daily attendance, 135.
I'm having Tara print these off and bring them in.
It's just that one.
Okay.
And it's just that one sheet, because you get the other two, right?
Excuse me.
And then 2024, total daily admission was 781.
7,000.
7,180, sorry. Length of the season was 78 days, and average daily attendance was 92. That's a problem, is that, you might get a couple big days right in the beginning, and Kelly can vouch for it, then it just tapers off to you don't get those huge crowds every single day.
And what was our,
No, not every single day. It was really weather dependent. And how many parties we book on top of that.
so then our operating loss then for 2022 was 150,000, and for 23, I'm rounding the numbers, 143,000, and then in 2024 it was 90,000. That was our operating loss. Without involving the capital expenditures.
And the capital expenditures are done already. They're spent. It's in the past. It's not like we can't.
So that you wouldn't have had these years if you hadn't had the
Capital expenses,
expenditures.
exactly. And Angie, on the capital expenditure line, on this document you gave us, there's no value there. Is that correct, that there should be no?
So it's part of on that back sheet.
I got, okay, yeah.
Those are, because this is a spreadsheet that Leslie had used. So,
So for 2025, should we take everything that's starting in 2025, ACO, 4,809 plus January 8th, 19,035?
Yeah, I think she said this report is calendar year, so from January.
yeah, that report's calendar year. So the capital expenditures,
8590.
because your capital expenditures are gonna be like your umbrellas and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So
You bet.
those numbers down there are associated with the year on the second sheet.
Okay, so the I'm just trying to make sure we got all of the capital costs reflected on,
Yeah, so the 84,666 for capital expenditures is, give me a second.
does it include some of that 2025 stuff on this page?
Yes.
Okay, all right, I don't want to double
No,
count it.
no, the 88,000, that's only for 2024. That's gonna be your canopy, your, painting, and the pool grate and the canopy fabric. I
So
believe.
on this bottom here from anything in 2025 is not included on this
Correct.
spreadsheet and needs to be.
Added.
It'll have to
Making the
be
tally
added.
for this year,
Correct.
towards the tally for this year so far.
And if I roughly add that up, that's about
Plus
90,000.
Plus ACO's last trip down and
210,000 is where we're at, is what I get.
can you make that up, Kelly? 210,000?
Yep.
How many hot dogs do you have to sell?
What are we gonna do with staff if we go ahead with fixing it and we're out 2 or 3 weeks?
We gonna lose you, Kelly?
If we have a deadline of like, hey, this is happening now, and they say, here's our goal, I think we can get the majority of our staff to stay on. Right now, we're fully staffed better than what we were last year.
There's still work to do at the pool right now anyways? Cleaning, kitchen, all those things? Was that done yet, or?
The cleaning of the kitchen will need to happen right before we open, because otherwise it'll just get dirty again with construction, and people coming in and out, and it's like a day.
Do any of the lifeguards know how to pour concrete?
Paint.
Sorry.
Maybe one. I don't know, it's a possibility.
And we have to order food in advance.
Able to stop all the food delivery, so we don't have anything coming right now.
Good job, thank you.
So best case scenario, everything falls in place, we've been blessed. We could open by the 14th? Or the following week?
I think it'll be after, I think it'll be the following week at earliest.
Perfect, yeah.
Yeah.
Say what?
Following week earliest.
No way.
Like the 21st?
28th?
21st is a Saturday.
7/14, I don't think we'll be open by the 14th.
That's 1 week, but then that's a week from today or tomorrow. How about by the 18th? That's the following Wednesday. That's 10
Just
days.
depends on
It-
what they get.
You're right, it'll depend.
It's all gonna,
Well,
We know more Monday than
yeah,
Tuesday.
you know a lot more next Tuesday if you want.
Yeah.
so last year, were we leaking,
Nope,
we weren't leaking any water, it just happened over the winter?
yep.
And tell me why the water was stuck where? What happened to cause the break?
We don't know what happened, but it wasn't leaking until we turned on the Zone 1
small.
pump. So something probably blew apart or broke when the pump was turned on, and it might have been already broke or whatever, and when you put pressure to it, maybe that's what broke it, I don't know. But that's when it started leaking, so.
Could have shifted too, we don't know.
So since it's in the
Concrete.
shallow part,
Yep.
could have we put too much water in the other pool to keep it, and then the water came up in the pipe on the shallow side and it broke and froze during the winter?
Now, the water, oh,
Because it seems weird.
There's a drain and
we put plugs in all the drains in the winter with thread tape and everything on it.
Okay.
So even if it did get up there, it shouldn't make a difference.
So when we built the pool, Teresa and I were on council at the time, and we knew then that it was going to be a money drain. We knew that. We knew that it would not pay for itself. We hoped, that it wouldn't lose a whole lot of money, but we knew that. We knew the maintenance was gonna cost and a lot. We knew that 20 years down the road, we were gonna have major problems with it because it'd be wore out. So, my opinion is that, we should try to fix this part now, and at least get the people in here to run the echo up to the pipe and see exactly if it's the end of it where we only have to dig up a little part of it, and $20,000 later, we have an open pool. If the echo shows that it's down further, and we have to, then maybe we ought to have another meeting and just see what the real cost is and have a different plan, or a plan. That's what it sounds like we should do, or that's what I think we should do.
John, I appreciate you and Teresa, when putting the pool in, I really do.
Yeah.
And I thought, it's a good thing what you guys did, and it's particularly understanding, when we provide something for the public, there is an expected loss. You're not gonna gain it. My opinion, the reason I voiced my opinion on it is, there's a limit to how much, and.
Exactly.
And I respect all my council members and what they decide. And I just, to me, it seems like every year, looking just in our history, there's always something, and you fix it hoping that it'll be the end of a little bit more than something else. And just like these pumps, the repetitive pumps, the piping now. So I'm just gonna take the opinion that I'm not going to vote for anything, for any financial investment into the pool, not the employees, but in the pool, I will not do it. I mean, just doing a rough figure of last year figures, for the few people that we had there, we spent almost $24,000 per person to swim in that pool. If you had 7,180 people there, right? And then you divide that up,
How much?
we had a total of 7,180 people last year?
Yeah.
All right, and then you divide that up for our loss?
That wouldn't include third parties, because they don't pay the addition.
How much of a loss is that then?
Well, our total loss last year,
I mean, per person.
I'm not the best on math and everything like that, but it looked like to me we was losing about, if you
You're right.
figured that, $24,000 a person
Per swimming event.
per swing, yeah.
Every time I go into the pool, every time Joe,
no.
Joe
Yeah,
Kid.
think about it.
Every time, that's what it costs.
4 people.
If you had 7,180 people,
Yep.
right, for the whole year,
Yeah.
and you have an operating loss of
174,000.
174,000,
Just take, that times each other, and it's about, at $25 a time.
yeah.
$25.
Yeah, he's at 24,000.
I'm talking about
Excuse me, you're right, okay.
For the, yeah.
If you looked at it that way, yeah. So that's like, every time, we could, I want a pool, I'll just say that, but
Me too.
I like to look at things differently to help inform my thinking. It's almost as if we could say, you want to go swimming, come up to City Hall, here's $12, and go over to Huck's Harbor. And every resident, and 7,180 people, which there's about 3,000 in West Burlington, rough math. So every resident in West Burlington, 3 times during the season, could come to City Hall, get a $12 gift certificate, and go swimming free at Huck's Harbor. And that's every swinging resident in
Yeah.
West Burlington.
And that's not counting, of the 7,180 people, how many people are actually West Burlington residents that
Well,
are
and
using it?
how many
then?
filled out the census correctly? We could have
Fair,
a
all
lot more
that.
people than
Yeah.
you
That's an
think.
option.
Yeah.
But I don't disagree with that type of
I mean,
option.
that's
It's just to
something
show
we
proof
could
that
do.
you're actually living in the city of West Burlington,
Yeah.
and not my, this and the extended thing, but
Is Burlington interested in splitting a repair like that?
They'd be interested in talking about negotiating a season pass for residents at Huck's.
I guess, kind of the same math. I look at it and go, okay, well, how much is it per citizen per year to have this nice facility in our town? And it's, depending on the year, right, because math goes up and down, it's 30 to 40 bucks.
Yes,
And to me, to have a facility that nice in our town, that is more than worth it.
exactly.
I think we are here to spend the public dollars the way they want it spent. And to me, through different surveys and word of people on Facebook and whatever through the last 20 years, I think people want us to have a pool. And yeah, my mom doesn't use that pool anymore, but she wants my kids to be able to go to use it. So I think our public's willing to pay 30, 40 bucks a year so that these kids can use it. I think we need to continue to run it better. I think obviously prices have went up since COVID on every chemical, on everything we do to it, everything we fix, staff and labor. But I do have limits to that too. But I think we're headed a good direction. Post-COVID, obviously numbers were horrible. we started headed in a good direction, and this is a bump in the road, but if you're saying, hey, we gotta go spend 26, I'm gonna call it 60 grand to have a working pool, I think it's more than worth it. So I'd say get it fixed immediately and let's roll.
I don't want to have them delayed while they're out there. That's just going to cost us more if they got to dig another hole. I mean,
Yeah, we can't have another meeting.
Fair. you
We
betcha.
could.
I don't, you could, but you just, rather than telling them to move forward, you're just going to delay their work time and it's just going to cost you more money too.
Unless we have the meeting scheduled already for
Exactly.
noon that day out there, so we're all sitting there peering over the hole.
Yeah.
I'd say the 5 to 15,000, if they had to do a second hole, would be lower because their equipment and
They're
everything.
there.
was already there.
I mean, we could set it today, we could have a meeting next Wednesday at the swimming pool, let's plan on it, no matter what. Gonna have it, do the meeting notice, and it'll be just an update meeting, and it might end up, it could choose to be a continue as you are, or, oh shit, how much more are we dumping in this hole?
And you can look at every dollar the city spends as losing money.
Yes.
Right? We can look at, well, Greg makes a bunch of money, why are we paying him again next year? Well, our citizens need Greg here, and he's something that we want to spend money on, and we need public works and roads and these things, and we want public attractions like a pool. We have, if you were gonna go build that pool today, you'd spend $20 million. So, we're $60,000 away from having a $20 million working facility.
That's still nice.
Yeah.
My ROI is in the positive substantially.
Well, as is a public attraction. I mean, if you do away with all those things, just like us building trails and things now, you go back and don't do these things, eventually people don't want to live here.
Yeah,
How about
That's why we're-
shiny
but if you
villa?
did a survey, like you were saying, which I agree, and say, okay, this is what it's gonna cost, and this has been our loss, and our expected loss, and the public looked at that as a different, they may have a different perspective, saying, well, if we're taking on that type of loss, maybe this shouldn't be part of it.
It'll definitely change some.
Oh, I would think it would change some, how many, I don't know, again, I go like, I just don't feel of good conscience of voting for something where I've seen this loss, and then saying, I'm being, I understand if for public things, there is a loss, but it's too much for me to suck up right now. And I just see a continued loss of more than we should be paying out for the returns for our public here. That's just how I feel, and I think having I'd love to have a swimming pool too all the time, but is it worth that type of cost?
There is one more option, I think. We have people that's making banners and stuff. Maybe they could paint us a couple, 3 or 4 signs that says move pool over to Greg's house, and we could have the pool over here at his place, and
Oh, he must have missed that meeting.
I kind of worry about when they start jackhammering the bottom of the pool,
What it'll cost?
might break loose later somewhere else.
At this point for the year, we've already spent $90,000 to get it up to this again. I think we need to plan on a serious meeting right after the pool closes is done in the fall, to review how to go and what are we gonna do next year. And if we're gonna decide not to have a pool, we decide then, not now. Now, this is an emergency, and I hate making long-term decisions like closing the pool, because if we don't fix it this year, then we're closing the pool forever, in my opinion.
pretty much.
Because we lose confidence of the public, we lose confidence of employees, and a pool sitting empty for a year is not gonna get better. It's not gonna improve. It's gonna have less problems. It's gonna have more. So to me, a decision to go forward and fix it today is a decision. Do we have a pool 3 years from now or not? And I don't like being backed in the corner making a long-term decision. And so at this point, we have the money, we don't like it, but we can't afford to fix it. Let's fix it, and then let's have a good season. Callie is challenged. You are our face to the public. You are face every day making decisions to help us be successful. We need to hear from you what you need from us more to be successful. It doesn't bother me to pay lifeguards $1 or $2 more an hour. That's cheap. That's inexpensive compared to other costs. But how can we manage it better so a year from now we're sitting there going, hey, yeah, it was worth reopening. Or next November, we make the decision, hey, guess what, we're done with the pool. Kelly, yeah, Keegan and Katie get ready to hand out certificates to go use Huck's Harbor. But I like the pool in our community, I think we can do it.
You said that, you have more people willing to work now than you have in the past, correct?
Yes, we are more staff this year than what we were last year.
We got more staff, or we got more than we,
Staff.
pardon me?
We have more staff this year than what we had last year.
In other
More
words-
lifeguards?
We have more lifeguards, yes.
So in other words, we should be there should be less times that we close the pool due to no staffing because you have more staff?
Correct, and the site should be opened 95% of the time, because we have the availability to staff them. And that was a problem last year, we didn't have the staffing, and so we were closing slides, opening them one slide, then the other slide, to do our best to fit the needs of the people that were there.
So everybody's certified that, and they can go from this side to that side to this side, and everybody can move around, and the
The lifeguards.
Lifeguards are, yeah.
There's plenty of coverage for all the lifeguards. But that would also be, the sooner you can get fixed and open. If we don't open for 3 weeks, I don't know how many of these young people are looking for summer jobs, or looking to make money over the summer. And so I don't know how long, before some of them are like, waiting for the opportunity, I got hired somewhere else.
Yeah.
I don't know that.
God, I do appreciate your leadership, because I know it's changed a lot over there, the mentality, because the officer, Tron's telling me, and some of the other officers too, when they were over there, not just the employees, but the people that are attending the pool too. And you know how I feel about it, because I've talked to you about it before. And I think it truly is, that's the way it's been going because of your leadership.
Payroll's been better, as well, because if it's a cool day, I'm sending people home. We're not just hanging out for their shift or hanging out inside the building. So that's been different, and then the atmosphere's been different. And because of that, we had one save last year. Wow.
I will add
Any of
one
them
more.
would, take on, work in the park in the meantime? Minor stuff, weeding, watering, different things?
Great idea.
You'd be paying them anyways during this time frame.
Water flowers,
What's that?
water flowers.
Watering flowers, weeding, absolutely. yeah,
And they
all
got
those
how to
things.
water flowers, they got that figured out. It's not a tough task.
Yeah, I assume there would be
I'm
people that would be interested in doing that to get paid. They're signed up to work outdoors, like that's something I go over, it's hot, we're not doing breaks every hour, so I would assume that they would be up for it. I can't.
And they could be a few hours in the morning, or somebody could work in the afternoon, easy to accommodate schedules, up to 3:30.
You mean for the week or two that they've been?
You'd be paying them anyways.
So I've got to leave here in 5 minutes, but I just want to make one more comment. Back when we built that pool, we didn't have Huck, the harbor, okay? We did not have that. And I never gave any thought to what Melanie said. If it gets to a point where it's so expensive and it's not repairable and stuff, and I'm not saying now, I'm saying I want to repair it today. But if it becomes there is an option that we would give our residents 3 passes for the year to go over there and,
That's,
you know.
that's good short term,
Yes.
but long term for the city, then, I worked for Randy for a very long time. That place will change. That water park will go away.
Yeah,
Right.
yep, and you're right.
So-
And here we control it long-term.
Yeah, at some point, 5 years, 10 years, wherever, that thing won't be there. It'll be more basketball courts or something.
Whatever's making.
I'm saying the worst scenario.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
something. And I'm definitely not saying that's what I want to do. But it has changed. It has changed from when we built it to now.
What year,
Where
what
there's
year
an-
did this one open?
Oh, God, Trace.
2008.
80,
So 2008, per what's on here, that's when we started?
We opened Huck's in '06.
Okay, wow.
I was there.
Hux wasn't there when we built the pool,
Oh, wait.
So Kelly, do you have like,
2008.
specials throughout the summer? We talked about like having a radio station there for a day or
Before Johnny leaves.
a special event that might attract more people.
We have not, because all of that will be cost out, but I have not been given permission to
double check
do.
that.
We do a lot of working with Little League,
I bought
daycares.
the Challenger in 2000.
There's like a
This was here way before that.
summer care program, basically like their Mount Pleasant fly that comes down, there's a few disabled.
You need to vote
homes that
for
come
Johnny.
down
We're
in the summer, instilling areas like that, but as far as like radio advertisement, we have not. There's nothing given to the elementary, I work at elementary
Did we
school.
not
don't
talk
encourage our
about that?
Elementary students to come, like,
She's talking about just having the radio like broadcast from the,
Didn't we talk about that at the first pool committee, having more specials or,
Yeah, we did.
Actually marketing the pool.
so maybe you can get with somebody and, you know, like on a Wednesday special, buy one hot dog, get one free, or free admission with purchase of a hot dog
yeah,
or a
that
hamburger or
might be
something like
the
that.
that makes that decision. I've never sat with them to know any of that, or that's kind of outside of my.
We do those on,
We're gonna
we
have
do
it
that
open
throughout
when
the
the
year. We
ball
we can
diamonds
come
are
up with
open, too.
those, and that's easy to do.
Well, I want to make sure that we get that done, because I think this year, with Burlington not opening their pool, we may get more of their clients. And I think $60,000, or 66, even up to $66,000, that's just a drop in the bucket for the price of the pool that we paid to have that built.
Yep.
And maybe in our next budget years, we should start putting money aside for the pool fund. Because I don't think we've ever set money aside for repairs or anything, that we've just flew by the seat of our pants.
And I did
Hoping.
see online somewhere that Burlington's gonna have some sort of shuttle to our pool, but I don't know anything about that.
Free buses, something.
Burlington's bus system is making the pool one of their stops
Okay.
But
this summer.
you
And
have-
Kelly also,
specific
You
to,
can have 8-year-olds dropped off unsupervised at the pool.
they still have to meet age limits. That would be, I think that was targeted towards North Hill and a couple of specific locations that they did on an annual basis for those specific neighborhoods.
yeah, and I talked to Brad Selby from Burlington because they have day camps and they want to bring the kids out. And we talked about they need to have their own people in charge of their own kids. That if there's an 8-year-old or 10-year-old, they have to have an adult with them
They can't
or
swim
a
in
responsible.
within arm's reach, and there's a local daycare that we've already, that I had to address a couple times last year, that brings a lot of very little kids, and I said, you have to have more help. They have to be within arm's reach if they can't swim.
But
12 or 14
And like cursing,
age.
they were kicked out last year. That's what made our pool more family friendly, that's what cut down on a lot of issues. And if we're gonna have people coming over, and it sounded like it was kids can ride free from Burlington, they need to be
we will tell, I
supervised,
think
and they
we
need to wait
definitely.
home, because I'm not gonna let them stay in the pool cussing up lifeguards and cussing up other people at 8 years old.
Burlington had age limits too. 10 years in my mind is too young. Especially when they drop them off as a daycare service for the hours that the pool are open. A 10-year-old shouldn't be out there by themselves all day.
And I think the video cameras would be really important this year.
They're installed.
Yep, they're gonna be very
That's
important this
another,
year.
probably another expense on,
Well, there's one camera going one way, and Brad was hoping to get another camera going the other way.
Cameras look really good.
we can reach out to the bus service and just FYI, if you're picking up kids that are under a certain age,
One, we need to update that sign that clearly says before they ever come in.
I think it says 10 right now, right?
I would have to go to.
I say,
I think it was.
you expect the bus driver to police the kids? Like, how old are you? I mean, I don't.
No, I think what's gonna happen is I'm
10-year-old, you
gonna
got your ID on you?
be taking kids out in June, because they're gonna be cursing and doing other things that we don't allow, and then I'm gonna have a bunch of parents from Burlington coming over, my kid, you kicked him out, and they're staying on the side, or police
That's not our
pro-
that is not our
No one
problem.
asked me about busing kids over.
Well,
Is that anything to me? I've had out about it all
We need to
along.
get out ahead of that, and part of this advertising needs to be, here's our rules, and y'all need to follow them, because we're gonna enforce them.
And trespass means not just outside the pool, it means outside the parking, up to, around the sidewalk, because you'll have them lingering and causing problems within the parking lot if you're not saying they have to be out, completely out of that zone.
I think 12 should be our minimum.
Last year, but it was because the first few weeks of the pool opening, my age helped me there, because I was a real adult, and I was like, no, we're not doing this.
Well,
Staff decision.
can I get us back on track, because I gotta work.
Yep. Do we need to vote? What do we need to do to proceed?
I don't need anything, we'll bring it, we'll get going on it, we'll update you, at the regular council meeting, we'll bring back the actual expenses, but if it's gonna be more than two, we'll let you know, that obviously, the status as we go, but we'll update, if it's gonna be another one, we'll let you know, if it's more, it's worse, more complicated, we'll bring it back, it's just, if they're there, we need to get
Yeah, agreed.
both of them done at the same time. I'm hoping it's just the one, we find it, and we're off and running. As soon as we know, we'll let you know. If we know something different, we'll let you know. But we just need it's a maintenance item, we just need to move forward on it.
Well, I think there's a consensus that we fix it.
And it's still not a bit clear. I know nobody knows exactly, but are we at a $60,000 top end at the moment, or 20,000, or,
Well, I think he said like 60, 66,000.
and I can't get
That's
there
the
with the
top
numbers
end.
everybody said yet to me.
Well, it's gonna be more than 15,000. That's just
Okay.
to dig the hole and find
I
it.
got that part. I'm just
Okay.
not getting from 20 to 60. Somebody fill in the
I'm
blank. We
just-
don't have to
we're
do it
just-
all
We're
here.
ballparking here. I'm
I
gonna say
got it.
25, best case scenario, 66, worst case scenario.
Gotcha. You don't need to talk to me again till it gets closer to over 25,000. That's when I care again.
We'll give you updates, though, just so you know. Yeah.
Well, don't stop the work to inform me.
They'll be here Monday, and then Millage will be here Tuesday then.
Any other discussion?
Nope. Thank you, Callie. Thank you, everybody. This isn't a fun situation, but this is why we're here. Appreciate it.
Take a motion to adjourn then.
Before you go,
Whoop.
I sent you an email.
You did?
I did.
When?
Just today. Just a couple of things. I printed this way off way too small. Let me know if you're interested. The Chamber Leadership Program is coming up. The Burlington Fire Department Citizen Academy is coming up in August and September. I was invited to that by the fire marshal. I was thinking that might be an excellent opportunity for a council member if they're interested.
Did you tell them that you can't use ladders?
Yeah.
I said I'm not doing it. I've managed 3 full-time departments, but I appreciate it. But I really think it might be a good experience for a council member if you haven't been involved in a full-service, full-time department to go through that program. I think it's once a week. It's August and September. I think it'd be an excellent program. But I do appreciate Fire Marshal Burnt following up on that. So if you're interested, let me know. There's
Motion
an
to send
application.
Johnny.
What's that?
Yes.
Motion to send Johnny?
I actually thought that might be pretty good, too.
I cannot do it.
Housing conference is in September, just FYI, that's on there as well. And there are links to all of the published IISC items to date. We have 4 that will be coming. And then GIS, we received over 27 mapped databases. And there's a list of not all, but of several of the databases. We have 27 GIS databases to add to our things. So that includes things like bus stops and routes, census data, emergency response times, emergency shelters, federal road classifications, flood-related information, housing, parks, public facilities, biking and hiking trails, solar energy potential, tree canopy, traffic, crash data, utilities, watersheds, and several others.
Those going to be publicly available where I can see them, or are they only
We
going to
put
be?
them on the back end, and then we'll figure out which ones we can put on the front end.
Okay. Yeah, some of those would be really good. Some,
Yeah.
Yeah.
27.
Yeah.
That's all I,
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Great.
All those in
Cool.
favor to adjourn,
Now we
say
gotta
aye.
just use them. Now can we adjourn? Second.
Who made the motion?
I did.
Andy, all those in favor, say